Self-improvement has helped millions of people turn their lives around completely. It's a truly life-changing thing to decide that everything you do from now on will be in favor of your future self instead of something that just feels good right now. But you've seen the title. Why am I making this video? I've come to realize that there's a somewhat dark side of self-improvement, and it's probably not what you expect. I've seen people make videos about what might be negative about self-improvement. Nathaniel Drew, for example, made a video about why self-improvement is ruining your life. In that video, he talked about how this journey of improvement can make you somewhat blind to things like relationships, and how you're so busy being hardcore and just putting in the work that you forget to put in the emotional work, like talking to your mom for a few hours and really bonding with the people close to you. That stuff matters too. I think Nathaniel makes a good point here, but to me, the emotional work is part of self-improvement. To me, self-improvement is not just simply delaying gratification, it's making the best out of life in every way. And that means balancing healthy enjoyment, such as experiencing amazing things, with continuously always putting in work to be better tomorrow than you are today. I would actually say that having periods of putting in too much work into self-improvement, or where you overall fail to balance things that matter to you, such as delaying gratification in relationships, like he says, these periods are just part of the journey. They're just part of your self-improvement journey, because you realize after a while you've been balancing things incorrectly and you adjust. So what is the dark side of self-improvement to me? It's not putting in too much work. To get into this, I would like to talk about Hamza for a second. Hamza has helped literally millions of young men to turn their lives around. And I can honestly say that he's one of the reasons I'm a completely different man today than I was a year ago. But is he evil? I believe he's not, but the fact that people look at, for example, Hamza as evil is why I'm making this video. Here's the dark side of self-improvement, the high horse behavior. You make some changes in your life and suddenly you feel like you're better than others. And that means that you first of all look down on other people, but secondly, it seems that to a lot of people it means whining about how self-improvement is becoming more popular. People are actually mad at how this community is spreading because it makes them feel less special for doing it. Please enlighten me. How is it a bad thing that people start actively working on themselves? If you say it's cringe seeing all these people working on themselves, if you say it's cringe to see people trying to turn their lives around when they've been suffering for a long time, you're only telling me that you've gotten nowhere in your journey. No mindful person would do that. There's an issue that has been bothering me for many years, and that's how people used to try to do popular things to be popular, but now they try so hard to not do popular things to be popular, because it's cool to not follow the trends. So it's kind of the trend to not follow the trend. They try so hard to not follow the mainstream because it makes them cool. These are the people that immediately won't like a movie or TV show if they know that it's a popular one. In my opinion, it's almost more frustrating to see people trying so hard to avoid mainstream things just to seem special, rather than seeing people doing something that's mainstream just because it's mainstream. Either way, both of these cases are ultimately the same thing. How much they like something is decided by how other people will perceive them for it. And that's exactly what's happening with self-improvement. Some guys are on their high horses and they see people trying to start working on themselves. And it makes them feel less special, so they don't like seeing it. So they also tend to have some sort of anger towards people that get a big following, like Hamza, for example. Even though the message they spread is doing a lot of good for many people. Or they look down on everyone that are not improving themselves. That, however, is something that I feel like most people on self-improvement have to battle it to a certain degree. I can definitely admit that I've had to work on that. It's easy to feel like you're better than others when you put in the work all day long and you look around and the people around you are doing jack shit. If this is how you feel, you have to remind yourself, where were you 6 months ago? A year ago, 2 years ago, or whenever, before you got into self-improvement, before you turned your life around? You were just the same. Get off your high horse. If you were them, you wouldn't have gotten into self-improvement either, because if you were them, you'd be where they are. Just be grateful that you are you and that you found this path, and be grateful that more people are finding it, because it's a beautiful thing to see. And it's a really interesting reaction from society, how we've gotten to some sort of tipping point with this extreme dopamine spiking world that we live in. So more and more people are having this reaction, this fuck it realization, where they do a U-turn and quit all of that unhealthy stuff. So that's the dark side of self-improvement. Don't be part of it. Just focus on yourself, brother, and encourage others to improve if you can, but without forcing. The only life you can control is your own. Now that's it for today. Have a good one, brother, and earn your sleep. And by the way, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Please and thank you.